Good afternoon. British Lebanese coming to you from London's Islington. Further update on my presidential case. This morning has been spent talking to government, welfare system, the continued targeting and terroristic ways of pushing enforcements, state enforcements on the taxpayer, restricting your money. Last couple of weeks I've received half of my welfare benefits. Half of my welfare benefits. So only last week I was complaining to a local shop why they had the need to sell a 1.5 litre bottle of Volvic for £2. And if you don't question them, they're going to do it. If you don't raise the ante with questioning these people and lobbying, just like the Israeli lobbies to continue its genocidal, terroristic occupation and invasion of countries across the world, stripping them from their blessed wealth, be it oil, gas, gold, diamonds, minerals, you name it. The terrorism continues in all sorts of forms, travelling across different countries across the world. If you're an Arab, you're a target. If you speak against the cult or that terrorist organisation that's kidnapped and hijacked the Judaism religion and is using it to control the masses, that's what we're doing. We're using religion we're using the Jewish religion by twisting and warping its definitions and meanings and terminologies and creating a new Talmud that was written a few weeks ago, and this version of it is the twisted version of it. Yeah, I'm being sarcastic, but you know, I'm not here to teach you history. I didn't do well in history because my teacher had bad breath. And the classes that I wanted to go on were already filled with the people, with the individuals. So we never got to pick the classes of the subjects that we wanted. And the only thing I ended up excelling in is philosophy of religion in the school where I grew up in that sang Pink Floyd. And on the front album you will see all the kids there on that album, the wall that is. The children there are all my prefects. So it's rather unusual for you lot to see a British Lebanese Arab living in Islington since the old days. All the 60s and the 70s stars, those songs that went out, the late 60s, the 70s. I was here in 73. Witnessed it all, grew up with it all. And seen how this country has turned into, England has turned into a cash cow. It's a cash cow in the same way as when England plays football and England lose, it would be tremendously stupid of any bookmakers to allow England to win because they make simply too much money on them if they want. So the cash cow England now is just pulling in people from abroad, all the traitors that were khayinin, all the people who grassed up those countries abroad have been brought over here. So all those white boy nationalists who complain about, oh, we got too many foreigners here. Yeah, well, if we go around bombing other people's country to take their oil and gas, why are you so stupid enough to be the common English muck to think that it's the fault of the foreigners coming over here when it's the British government that's been hijacked by Jewish power to using England as a vessel, a terroristic vessel to commit its atrocities and gain all the taxpayer money and go and use it to blow up defenseless people. Let's just get rid of this geezer on social media. Yeah, just like that. For those of you who don't know, I'm a 17-day hunger striker, targeted by Jewish power. A mental health nurse, where I was detained for the first in my life, tells me, Sam, you are a political victim. It's he who told me that, who'd been there as a mental health nurse for 40 years. He's the one that kept on saying, Sam, there's nothing wrong with you. But it's not important, although relevant, that I should say that. What is important is the consultant psychiatrists that told me, Sam, there's nothing wrong with it. Told my mum, Sam, there's nothing wrong with it. In Islington police station, in front of CCTV, in front of the sergeants, the chief inspectors and all the other racist, institutionalised white boys working in the Met Police and CID, MI6, MI5, SO15, all of them have targeted me, all of them. I've been contacted by even the boss of the CID, after I'd done my hunger strike, came to my house with the person who arrested me, the CID. Wanted to come over, obviously do some kind of a deal.
No, I swear she was supposed to call like 5 people.
She's just got favourites, bro. She'll give people like hate reminders and they'll put them on.
Hold on 1 second.
She always puts you straight on like a 20.
So we continue.
Oh, yes, give me that warning.
And then they were like, oh yeah.
Yesterday I heard news that Israel is coming in to Lebanon,
People do that, but it's dumb.
started its war
Place it in the front pocket here. Yeah.
on Lebanon.
Your jacket pocket.
You should use the lesson technique.
If they if they search you, they're gonna search your bag.
I've always said that Lebanon needs to change its democracy infrastructure, its political infrastructure. It needs to be changed.
You want to see? Tell me, wait, let me see.
And I'm one of the very few people
Unless she's on the phone.
who is a Lebanese from father and mother, whereas a lot of people in Lebanon are, they're Lebanese, they're Syrian, they're Palestinian, they're a combination of all of them. So I'm from both a Lebanese mother and a Lebanese father, and that goes back generations.
send pictures of the shoes.
Nah, bro.
Some disruptions.
You have to
I think
continue it.
kids are on their way, are going home from school right now, so there's a lot of background kids coming.
Wait, Abdullah.
My friend always asks the same.
We need to form
Oh yeah, you don't.
a lobby
I wrote
A lobby that defends the Lebanese, a lobby that defends the Palestinians, a lobby that defends the Syrians. There's people who are talking about Lebanon. Sorry, there are people who are talking about Syria. We've got Richard Medhurst who talks about Syria because he's Syrian, Christian. We've also got Kevok Al-Masyan, who is a Armenian. He's not Syrian, but he's lived in Syria. He talks about Lebanon. Sorry, he talks about Syria as well. And the only people that we have that go on YouTube's, the anti-Zionists I'm talking about, is that I know of is Mara Osman and probably a couple of others, but they're using insignificant women to out it, women that don't have skills and qualities in journalism. And when I say women, they keep using the news that comes out of Lebanon via female faces. Yeah. Too many, to the extent that I'm verbalizing it, I am populating it. Yeah, nothing to do with misogyny, unless you're an idiot. In which case, it is if you're an idiot. That pattern of having women's faces to give out news on Lebanon is a wrong impression that we are pushing out. You know, there should be a balance. Yeah, I'm not seeing Ali risk enough talk. I'm seeing people talking from a geopolitical perspective. But why is this bus going a different way? Oh right, people are talking about Syria, but not about Lebanon. I just had a brain fade. What's going on? I think I need to make a diversion for this bus. Yep, I'm not seeing Lebanese men podcasters who are anti-Zionists. I'm not seeing it. It's not happening regularly. Yeah, while we're populating the Syrian ones. Yeah, one of them is gagged from speaking properly, and the other one, yeah, he can only talk the talk that you can talk on YouTube. I don't see him going to Rumble or other stations where they can talk more freely than they do on YouTube. So you talking to me, if you're giving out news and you have been given platform by the cult owner, YouTube that is to say, the Zionist, then the news that you're giving out is really not really news. You're just regurgitating the same things. You're not speaking raw talk. You're journalists, and as a result, you are regulated by the broadcasting terms and conditions. So you can't talk like we, who speak with openness, who are not affiliated to those organisations, and speak from a personal capacity. I just want to make a point here. I've contacted Toby North from my constituency. I haven't heard anything. I don't know how he's listed me in terms of priority. But what I do know is I've been following that very same path of process and procedure for far too long. Since 2008 to no avail. So I'm here really just to prove to you that even contacting my own constituency, which is a pro-Israel constituency, it is a hate group organization. It is a hate group. The constituency where I'm from, they're all haters of Arabs. Yeah, they wouldn't be doing the jobs if they wasn't. They wouldn't be doing their jobs in the role that they're in if there wasn't. And it's people like me who speak with openness who brings this forward so that people understand it. Yeah, there's someone who's just said, who are you talking to? So they're going to get blocked for asking stupid questions. Anyone here who is under the age of 18 years old, this is an adult channel. You're not allowed on it. Police are monitoring my activity, CID, MI6, MI5, SO15, and if they see you subscribe to me and watching my podcast and I give out gambling tips, yeah, they're going to contact your mum. So you better quickly get off of this and nothing will happen. Yeah, shut your YouTube and get off of this. It's not for you. Yeah, and you will be punished, and your parents could be held responsible. So get off, please. Yeah, you've been warned. We're entering the territory of Jeremy Corbyn, the pretender anti-Zionist, the twisted, crusty, old, lying. There's kids here. I'm not going to use profanity on this bus, but check my YouTubes. I've spoken with length about Jeremy Corbyn. I'm a British Lebanese Arab updating the Arab world that Jeremy Corbyn is a pretender anti-Zionist. Yep. So is his brother, Piers Corbyn. Met them both. Turned out to be lying Charlie University November Tango. That's what they turned out to be. They turned out to be Charlie University November Tango. We're experiencing freezing temperatures here in London today. Literally freezing temperatures. We are in November, early November. So there's clearly a shift in the pattern of weather, and this month we're seeing frost far more than normal. I am a shadow banned account. Get my YouTubes out. I'm a targeted account. I am demonetized. So pressing click means that you are Lebanese members of the United Community. You are Syrian members of the United Community. Why do I need it to get out? I'll tell you why. I have a very good reason why I would like people to click favourite, please. It's because being demonetized means us Arabs can't get the message out. Being demonetized means that we don't get the platform to get our message out. I asked the public to share my content because a lawyer asked me to go on social media and tell the public. That's what a lawyer said. And she specialises in people who do have mental health. Now, it's a lot of, how can I say this? It's a lot of, you need a lot of guts to come on social media and tell the public that you was detained under the Mental Health Act and kept incommunicado. Is a lot to go on social media and generate. My YouTube has had over 300,000 so far. I mean, nearly 200,000 of them were in the last few months alone. The YouTubes that I've been doing when I used to go live, well, I mean, I go live anywhere most of the time, 99%. And when I do go live, before it used to be several thousand people who come on live, but now it's slightly changed. I'm not entirely sure why, but I do speak with openness, and I'm a Cockney speaking Londoner, and some of you expats out there don't know about the culture of us British Londoners, British Lebanese, Cockney speaking Londoners. We are a huge culture of speaking which involves profanity. Us Cockney speaking London. For those who don't know about Cockney, it's the Jews that came over here and used that language. Yeah, that's Cockney. So people who don't understand that, clearly they've shied away from that. I don't know, but I do know that a big factor of it is somebody's reported me last week. Over 80 people reported my ex account. My ex account is, let me just flip over here, see if we could. My ex account got reported. I made tweets to apparently 80 odd pro-Israeli Twitter accounts reported me. And so as a result of that, I can't see any of my DMs anymore unless I buy a new phone, or unless I get a phone with a new line so that I can forward it to them.
Some apples, please, mate. Yeah.
I have to come back here, I think. See that? 3 avocados for 2 avocados for £1. We're just around the corner from Suggs' house. I don't know if any of you know Suggs. Suggs is from the lead singer of Madness. You know that group Madness? I met him once before in Bricklayers Arms in London's Hackney when I came back from Hackney Town Hall after representing a nightclub owner for the first time in my life. Representing a nightclub owner from a legal capacity to stop his nightclub being shut down, because there were shootings outside in the streets in that area, and the police seemed to think, yeah, let's shut down a nightclub instead of them being able to police the streets properly. They want to shift blame onto a businessman. Well, I won that appeal to shut it down, and it didn't get shut down. Although I didn't get nothing for it, it was a good experience of me standing up in Hackney Town Hall with officials, government officials, and mitigating the case of which we won. So we went down and celebrated, and when we were in Bricklayers Arms, we see Suggs there, and we had a drink. So Suggs lives here in Holloway. Tufnell Park is the area he lives in. Oh yeah, football today. There's Scotland and another team playing. There's also, what was it, Scotland and someone else. There's another team playing, I can't remember what it is. But I might put it out on Twitter. I've rarely, you know, sent out Twitters these days. Sorry, I've rarely sent out sports tips. It's absolutely freezing. Look at me, this looks like a handy shop. I'll need to have a little mosey here at some point. Come back to it. I'm hearing bad news about KFC, McDonald's, and the food that is being served inside, the contamination of rat and mice infestation. Be careful, everyone out there. Do not buy these kind of takeaways. I strongly urge you to stop purchasing from these kind of takeaways. These look quite nice actually, don't they? Look, selling them for £1. Wow. $2.99 a kilo. Wow, check all these fish out. Yep, stinks. Not refreshing. استغفر الله العظيم. ما بقى واحد عنده ثقة بالأكل واللحمة اللي بيشتري بهالدنيا anymore. Oh my God, شوف هاي. Yep. No faith. Yes, please. How are you?
How can I help you?
I wish you a good day. ليش عم يحسل ابني؟ يعني شايفني عم بطلع ما بدي اشتري شيء. How can I help you? You already told me. Just leave me alone. I'm checking out your expensive prices. Wow. Check all this out. هوني places down here. Sometime you can even down Wrigley Road Market.
Later, Mickey.
They're selling gorilla meat in the black market there. Don't know if some of you knew that. But yep, gorilla meat.
See you later.
It's a delicacy, isn't it? Hello. How are you, brother? ما قبلوه
Come guys tomorrow and
How are you? That's Seven Sisters. Which side is Seven Sisters?
Seven Sister Road.
Yeah.
Go there 1 turn left.
Okay.
Yeah, Seven Sister Road.
Shukran. Thank you, brother. Just went in that little bit of a maze and got lost track. I know the car park. Yep, I used to own a contract down this area. Spiderweb. One of those contracts that I used to own was off of the Jewish Chronicle. Yeah, you heard it. Yep, when I was the high-flying, young, ambitious British Lebanese that I was, I had 5 contracts I accumulated in 1 year. Courier contracts. I was employing staff. I was renting 7.5 tonners, Luton vans, small vans. I was hiring bikes and paying wages for people to go and do deliveries, delivering even up to Scotland. I used to get about, 380 odd quid just for one of those jobs there, going not as far as Scotland, but in a 7.5 tonner. I was an active member of my local community. I was the first person in the country, the youngest, I should say, and the first to be a representative of the committee meeting of my local estate I grew up in since 1973, the youngest in the country. And those who recently in Islington have been elevating young youths to do all these kind of roles, yeah, their statistics have just been thrown in complete and utter refute. Why? It's because those that were saying that they're the youngest in the roles of being representative of the committee meeting of your local estate are actually false. And Islington Council need to understand that as a factor, that it is me who's the youngest person that was elected the member, the representative of the committee meeting. I was very young, 19 at the time. I can't remember exactly, 18 or not. I can't really remember. And I shouldn't really give a date if I don't remember. But it's fact. That's how much empathy I had for my community at that age. Yeah. And then weeks later, I got headhunted for a job, which eventually allowed me to become the transport manager of that place and run the Dell contract, the Cisco contract, the HP contract, all the top IT firms. I was distributing it across England. I was one of the first where rolling out the IT infrastructure to government buildings. Yep, it was me who was assigned to the migration of the computerized system in England when they were initially starting to migrate over to become computerized. Well, it was me and my involvement where I had the role of most of the distributions of IT in England came through the warehouse that I was running. Yeah, coming from Ireland, all the stock. Well, the IT was coming from Ireland, and then from Ireland to England it was distributed. My name was on most of the IT boxes that get distributed in central London, indeed scattered across the whole country. I ran a 24-hour service. I had a fleet of couriers, drivers, bikers, technical couriers, IT, semi-technical engineers, carrying out basic installations and reaching Hewlett Packard itself, serving some of the finest stockbrokers and financial advisors in the country, only to have my career shattered by a racist constituency, pro-Israeli, racist, genocidal constituency. And only yesterday, a speech was made, and I can't even tell you. Well, I can actually. It was the resistance leader who made a speech, and he used a word, and that word I absolutely 100% know about. Yeah? But I can't tell you, because I'll go to prison if I do. Yeah? Because I'll go to prison if I do, because they've gagged me. That's why. They've gagged me. And when I was at court, I had no representation. I was promised a lawyer. I had no lawyer. I dropped my case days before the court case. Yeah? And the judge told me I was supposed to have a jury. That turned out to be an utter liar. Why would a judge lie? Tell you, yeah, you're gonna have a jury, and then be a lying. Charlie University November Tango. That's what he was. He was a C for Charlie, and so on. Welcome if you just joined us. I am not getting the flow of followers, viewers online. It is really shocking how for the last few YouTubes my audience has shot right down. God knows what happened. But here I am doing what my lawyer told me, contrary to other YouTubers who go out doing their YouTubing for money. What else could we talk about? get a cigarette later. I wanted to come to Lebanon. I wanted to bring my mum again to Lebanon. I wanted to visit Babda Palace. You know, they have a tourist thing. That's not the only reason why I wanted to visit Babda Palace. And I wanted to rock the boat in the Lebanese social media as to who I am. Now that I've been exposed to social media after begging the ambassador of the Lebanese embassy here in London, Rami Mortada, who's parachuted to Lebanon, to deal with my case. He did have a right hand that was called Hazim Abdul Samad, made a promise to help me and get me accountability. And when they found out that the phone call that I received off of the president, who was the president at the time, Michel Sleiman, when they found out that I'd recorded it, they backed off. Well, yeah, if I didn't record it, I couldn't be as confident as I am right now on the phone, as I am right now, talking to you about my presidential case, exposing what happened to me. I wouldn't be. And shame on those who made promises and broke them. Shame on the Lebanese officials. I think Michel Sleiman is out of order, like Saeed Hariri. They are a bunch of useless meat eaters, multi-billionaires who have made money off of the blood of Palestine, Syria, Libya, Iraq as well. Hariri stole £1 billion from Iraq. What happened to that? £1 billion was given to him. What happened to that? Why isn't that back in the news? Why are you anti-Zionists in Lebanon all silent about Hariri all of a sudden? Eh? Why? Why is that? He deserves what he did. He deserves to be exposed. Yeah, he made a promise to me as well, in public, in front of the world, that if he comes to London, he would like to see me. He turned out to be a lie in Charlie University, November Tango. City coffee. I've had one coffee so far. Let's see if we could get another one down us. We're experiencing freezing temperatures here in London. Where are we? Alright, we're approaching Finsbury Park, ladies and gentlemen. This is a nasty area full of stabbings and drug dealers, and this area, Jeremy Corbyn has shown all the failures in his ability to conduct himself as an MP. The area is like a third world country. It's a shame. I got my hood on because I didn't bother to put any mousse on my hair. It looks a bit rough, and I ain't here to impress anyone. I'm not artificial. If I'm not happy, I'll tell you I'm not happy. If you say good morning to me, I'll say good morning to you. I'm an approachable person. I'm a people's person. I'm someone who is blended with multicultures in this country, who's had jobs from different levels of professions and were forced to due to the discrimination and racism in England is extraordinary. It's amplified since 9/11 and continuously became such a competitive world in the employment market. And unless you accept working for the Freemasons, you're not going to get into a legitimate role that pays you a rational salary. Unless you're going to join the Freemasons, you're not going to get put in those positions of good paid jobs. And they'll filter the Arabs out like no one's business. And my morals are more valuable than to be joining such terroristic organisations as the Freemasons. The same Freemasons where all the police officers and all the chief inspectors bend over to. Yeah?
Bring M's.
All the witnesses that I asked my lawyer to get ready, the instructions that I gave my lawyer fell on deaf ears. They fell on deaf ears. This building here used to be where Hopkins, Murray and Beskin solicitors is. Yeah, let's see if it's still there. This is the solicitor, the Jewish solicitor that used to take Fridays off when she was supposed to be representing me, who qualified a lawyer to become a lawyer, who's working for her. It's not longer here by the looks of it. And then got her a job in a certain council as a litigation lawyer. And here my lawyer, Leslie Curtis, who was supposed to be representing me, and Sarah Williams, who was given a job in his own council so that they can collaborate together and reveal private and confidential information of tenants between them and jobs between them. Little racket, yeah. I caught her lying, reported her to Ombudsman Law. Ombudsman Law there just like to bend over and stick Vaseline around their ring holes and take it from them. That's what they do. That's what they do. That's what these watchdogs are like. They are scum criminals of the organisation. Criminals. Alright. I think I've done enough now for now. Get my YouTubes out, please. Check out my YouTubes. I've done some extraordinary YouTubes. The updating of my presidential case continues. Assalamu alaikum.